Oh, mate.
You know, if you're like, I can't be bothered, mate. Shit!
Oh!
Drop it!
What?
Drop that.
Not every terrifying encounter begins with something obvious. Sometimes it starts with a strange sound in the dark, glowing eyes between the trees, or a voice coming from somewhere it shouldn't. By the time people realize something is wrong, it's already too close. Would you stay or get out immediately? Hayes is someone who truly enjoys being outdoors. He operates a channel called Hayes Outdoors, where he regularly uploads videos from his camping trips, exploring mountains, forests, and other remote places that aren't easy to reach. Over the years, he's built a loyal audience, and a lot of his content can genuinely teach viewers useful lessons about surviving and adapting in the wilderness. But this specific upload posted on March 24th, 2026 stands out because it shows how quickly things can suddenly go wrong, even for someone with plenty of outdoor experience. The video starts off in a very calm way. He's simply sitting there reading comments from viewers completely relaxed, with no clue what's about to happen.
What's the best method of kicking your ass to actually get out? I've never regretted going camping once, but for some reason really have to drag myself out. I have no idea why. Because it's easier to stay in. Everything's designed to keep you in. Easy food, easy life, and that's how they want it, mate. They want you knackered, and they want you staying in and not doing anything. And what you've got to do, mate, is prove them wrong. Stick it to yourself as well, because no one deserves to kick your ass as much as you do.
But while continuing to focus on those comments, his awareness of the area around him slowly slipped. That short moment of distraction directly led to an accident, one that easily could have ended far worse.
You know, if you're like, I can't be bothered, mate. Shit! Oh my God, I think I've broke my arm. Oh my God, I think I've broke my arm. Oh my God. Oh, ow, ow, ow. Where's my camera gone? Oh no, where's the mic? Mic's still there, you can hear me. Mate, I think I've broke my arm, and I was lucky that I didn't land on my head then. I could have been dead. Mate, I've just fallen down that cliff and landed there. My arm is haggard and I've lost my camera. So I can't see it. Don't know if it's landed in water and gone off end at waterfall, or whether it's on there somewhere on that cliff as I fell down. That was violent, that was violent. I don't know, my elbow feels absolutely knackered, mate. It's all gone tingly. If I'd have come down there at a different angle, mate, I would have been dead. And as I was falling, I didn't even know whether I was going down big bit.
Thankfully, he made it out all right and didn't actually break his arm. Still, the situation could have turned serious very quickly. If he had landed on his head, the result may have been fatal. And since he ended up falling into the water, any injury severe enough to restrict movement could have caused him to drown right there. It's a strong reminder of how a brief moment of inattention outdoors can quickly become life-threatening. 1 second, everything feels completely normal, and the next, you're dealing with something you may not survive. It wasn't even a major fall, which honestly makes the situation even more disturbing. Something that minor can become deadly instantly if someone lands the wrong way. So always stay alert out there. No matter how experienced a person may be, nature has a way of catching people off guard when they least expect it. Experience doesn't make someone invincible. Sometimes it only means they've been fortunate more often than others. What do you think really helps people stay aware when they're completely alone outdoors? The footage was uploaded to an Instagram account called PashaBrill9. According to Pasha, everything began with a simple mistake that was almost embarrassing. He had been driving through a wooded area when his tire struck a sharp branch lying in the road. The result was a flat tire with no way to keep moving, leaving him stranded on a completely deserted road surrounded by trees. He started filming everything on his phone while some extra footage came from his dash cam. At first, his attitude seemed fairly relaxed, almost laughing the whole situation off. No spare tire, no phone signal, no people anywhere nearby. Only the forest and the daylight, slowly fading around him. After some time, he briefly managed to get a signal and contacted a friend.
Колесо спущено. За час, который я здесь нахожусь, ни одна машина не проехала. Единственное, что меняется в этой ситуации, то, что начинает темнеть.
The friend agreed to come help, but the drive would take nearly 4 hours. That's when the footage begins to change. The earlier clips seem completely normal. He's mostly passing time talking to the camera and walking around the vehicle. But once the forest became fully dark, the atmosphere shifted. Something was moving through the bushes nearby.
Что это за херня была?
At first, it looked like a normal animal, something darting across the road that he assumed was probably a dog or local wildlife. Then he noticed the eyes glowing bright red against the darkness and staring directly back at him. The figure paused in the middle of the road, faced him briefly, then disappeared into another section of the woods. He immediately froze. The creature moved on all fours, but its proportions seemed wrong, with a dark, nearly hairless body and movements that didn't resemble anything familiar. Instead of remaining inside the car and waiting for his friend to arrive, he made a decision he would later regret. He followed the creature into the forest.
Работает.
Between the trees, those same glowing red eyes kept appearing again, always at a distance, always pulling farther away, but never completely disappearing. At one point, the figure slipped behind a tree and suddenly wasn't there anymore, almost as if it had climbed upward or dissolved directly into the darkness. Afterward, the only thing left for him to do was replay the footage repeatedly and try to understand what he had actually captured. The most reasonable explanation is probably a wild animal, reflecting light in a strange way. But other theories online became much darker: the chupacabra, the rake skinwalkers. Sometimes there's a perfectly normal explanation, and sometimes the footage itself makes that difficult to believe. Would you have stayed inside the car or followed it? On February 15th, 2025, the YouTube channel Carly HD uploaded a video that began like a completely normal vlog, but gradually turned into something neither of them expected. The channel usually focuses on lighthearted content mixed with occasional unsettling moments, but this upload felt very different. In the video, Carly and her mother walked into the wooded area behind their home to investigate whatever had been attacking their ducks. Several of the birds had already been killed during the previous few days. As they followed a narrow trail through the woods, the mood remained casual. They talked about the ducks, joked with each other, and pointed out locations where their security cameras had captured movement during the night. But the farther they went, the more certain details began to feel wrong. Carly mentioned that the last time she had been in that area, she noticed what looked like doll heads scattered among the trees. At the time, it had seemed like a strange coincidence, but standing there again, the entire area carried a much different atmosphere. Then they noticed something on the ground that immediately made both of them stop. As they stepped closer, it became obvious it wasn't an animal.
But this is weird. Okay, so how many trees are down?
Like 4, 5, 6. Oh, that's creepy. Yeah.
It was a small doll head, partially buried beneath dead leaves. They tried to brush it off and keep the mood light, but as they continued deeper into the woods, the surroundings became even stranger. Nearby trees were bent and twisted in ways that didn't seem completely natural, making the uneasiness even stronger. Then Carly spotted something else lying on the ground that she was certain had not been there only moments earlier.
Is that a rat? Did the raccoon kill a rat?
What is that?
I don't know. I don't want to touch it. Oh!
Drop it!
What?
Drop that.
A second doll appeared, and the way it had been positioned made it feel less like random trash, and more like something intentionally placed there. The atmosphere immediately shifted. They debated whether to pick it up or leave it alone, and it became increasingly obvious that neither of them felt comfortable staying much longer. But the dolls ended up not being the most disturbing thing they discovered.
Anyways, you said this looks like an arrow.
Yeah.
Carly! We're not alone here. Focus, girl. You're too focused on that tree. What is this? Where did that come from? That wasn't there before. Did the doll do this? We got rid of all the dolls.
No, the other doll.
Well, the ones over here?
Yeah.
Okay, fine. We'll leave it over here.
Mom, it's gonna be possessed and haunted. We're gonna leave it right here. Drop it.
Okay.
Drop it.
I will.
As they turned around to head back, they noticed one final detail that stopped them instantly. Bright red feathers were spread across the ground.
Oh no, something. Do you see what I see?
No.
Do you see all those red feathers? Oh, there's a bird. Something died here. All this weirdness. Okay, we are out of here. Looks like a little cardinal.
Oh.
What?
I think there's blood down there.
What the heck is going on? Why are all these tree branches all weird like this and bent? Was a bird sacrificed to the evil dolls? Okay, this is way too creepy. Okay. You stay here and we're going.
Scattered in a pattern suggesting that something had recently been killed there. That was enough for them. They decided not to continue any farther into the woods. But even after leaving the area, the questions remained whether everything they had found was simply a bizarre series of coincidences, or whether someone had intentionally placed it all there. If you had been the one walking through those woods, would you have kept going or turned around the moment you saw the first doll? The unsettling camping incident comes from Broken Capital, a UK paranormal exploration channel known for nighttime investigations in forests and places connected to urban legends. The date is June 10th, 2023 in Cannock Chase.
So, what? That's weird as fuck.
The team steps into the woods after dark. Almost right away, they hear a distant, unfamiliar sound coming from deeper inside the forest. It isn't especially loud, but it's distinct enough to make them pause. There's no clear source or direction. The atmosphere changes fast, shifting from casual exploring to careful listening.
What is that? That's like a kid whining.
Whoa. And again? Do you want to keep...
What was that? We're only on the fucking path, we're not even in there yet. Should we come on?
I want to get off that bit of there.
Here we go. I mean, there is a graveyard, like just up there, through them trees. There's two. Oh, did you hear that?
Yeah.
Not long later, the sound returns. The noise becomes more frequent, a whining, almost squealing sound described as something in distress. What makes it unusual is the way it behaves. Whenever they move toward it, the sound seems to change position, never remaining still long enough to follow properly. It creates the impression of movement without anything visible to confirm where it's coming from. As more time passes, the sound grows stronger, more difficult to dismiss, and harder to explain.
Did you just hear mumbling then?
Yeah.
As cheesy as it sounds, it's dropping cold. That sounded like a little girl murmuring. But I want it to be that. Secretly I don't, because I fucking hate this, but...
Is it tea children or is it tea
The black-eyed children, it's called, isn't it? So...
Then a heavy thud breaks the pattern. This sound is different, louder, nearer, more physical. It suggests something with a real weight moving nearby, not just distant noise carrying through the trees. For the first time, the situation changes from simply hearing something to believing something may actually be there.
Whoa.
That was massive behind you. Come on, fuck it, come on. Just keep going. I don't like it here, you know. We're not even in it, really. Do you know what I mean? We're on the fucking outskirts with it. Carl's had to get dressed because it has gone so cold. Like, out of nowhere, it was like a breeze.
Near the vehicles, a low growl can be heard. This time it's nearby, not off in the distance. It doesn't move or fade away, it simply remains there somewhere in the darkness beyond the light. At this point, the environment feels occupied, even if nothing can be clearly seen.
Fuck off, it said. He just shouted, fuck off.
Which way did that come from behind us?
Yeah.
There's a thing back in my bag there, that pocket's open, just get that torch.
Did you hear it?
Yeah.
Shouted, fuck off real loud. Just some bloke shouting, fuck off. No, it'll be us, won't it? You can see the lights, there's nowhere else lit up.
Mate, let me just get this.
Mate, that fucking landed next to you. Right, let's go. We didn't even get to do fucking round 2 soon, yeah?
You're chucking bricks at us.
All I heard was fuck off. Which way was it?
Down, wasn't it?
No. No, it weren't.
What?
Let me do a little turn. Oh, Carl.
Shit, hold on.
Carl, we're lost.
We'll get out. Oh, just cut across if you have to. Let's get in between the trees if they are chucking bricks at us.
Then everything suddenly shifts. A voice yells from the woods, hostile, direct, unmistakably human. Seconds later, objects are thrown toward them. There's no longer any uncertainty about something being out there. They pull back immediately. For most of the night, nothing is fully understood. The sounds seem to relocate, the voices never become clear, and whatever is out there is never completely visible. It feels strange, but still uncertain. Then suddenly, it doesn't anymore. The moment someone finally steps into view, everything that happened earlier begins to make sense. The noises weren't random, and the movement wasn't imagined. They just hadn't realized what they were dealing with yet. And that's what makes this camping encounter disturbing, not only that something was out there, but how long it remained hidden without being recognized. Sometimes when things don't make sense immediately, it isn't because they're impossible. It's simply because you haven't seen them clearly yet. So if you were standing there in the dark, hearing those sounds getting closer, would you stay and try to understand it or leave before it became too late? The next video comes from the Haggett Project, a solo wilderness camping and exploration channel centered on remote forest environments. It is March 9th, 2025, in an isolated mountain forest in the United States. The creator arrives during the early morning hours. Around 3 a.m., the timing immediately feels unusual. The area is completely dark, visibility is very limited, and the forest is silent. While searching for a place to stop, he notices signs of earlier activity. A dry square-shaped patch on the ground suggests someone had camped there recently.
My feet are right up against the trunk. You can also see my makeshift foam pieces to cover the windows, but I'm hanging these little curtains using this cargo net, so that blocks the light coming in.
Shortly after falling asleep, he suddenly wakes up. A distant dog bark cuts through the silence, creating an uneasy feeling almost immediately. As he becomes aware of his surroundings, he experiences a brief paralysis-like state, unable to fully move. During that moment, he notices something deeply unsettling. A dark hand-shaped shadow appears near the door, reaching toward him before disappearing. Whether it was a dream, a hallucination, or something else, it leaves a lasting impression.
Interesting, structure-wise. Although now this is interesting too. Something walked through here, right along the edge of the snow. And what the heck is this? It's a piece of roofing. But yeah, that's pieces of the ground.
Later, while cooking, the silence is interrupted. Distant gunshots echo through the forest. The sounds are far enough away not to seem like an immediate danger, but close enough to confirm activity nearby. It reinforces something important: he may not be as isolated as he originally thought.
Pelvis, right? Deer or elk?
Near a gated road, he notices fresh tire tracks. They continue deeper into restricted access areas, suggesting recent movement from other people. There's no indication of who they were or why, only that someone had passed through not long earlier. At this point, things begin to feel different. He may technically be alone, but it no longer feels that way. Nothing major happens, no one steps out, and nobody confronts him directly. But the smaller signs continue adding up. Someone had been there before. Something is moving nearby. There are sounds that shouldn't exist out there, yet somehow do. After a while, it stops feeling random. It starts to feel like he's in a place he doesn't fully understand. Sometimes it isn't one terrifying moment that makes you feel unsafe. It's a series of smaller things that slowly build tension in your mind. So if you were in his position, noticing all of these signs around you, would you stay and ignore them or leave before something finally revealed itself? On November 1st, 2024, beside a quiet riverbank in Wisconsin, a video from Live 2 Day Wonderland follows a couple recognized for filming calm camping trips and outdoor lifestyle content. Their channel usually centers around peaceful campsites and simple routines in nature. But during this trip, something changes after dark. It's not obvious, not direct, but enough to make the night feel different before anything is fully visible. The video begins with a peaceful setup. The couple arrives at a sandy riverbank surrounded by trees during the fall season. As evening settles in, they cook, eat, and talk, while the remaining daylight slowly disappears outside. The river stays calm, and the forest remains silent. Then sometime during the night, something changes. A sound comes from outside the tent. Their dog suddenly becomes alert, raising its head and focusing on something in the darkness.
What the hell was that? Huh? What was that?
What is it?
Oh, she was good. What the hell? What is that?
They listen carefully, but nothing can clearly be seen. The darkness beyond the tent conceals everything. The next morning, the uneasy feeling doesn't disappear, it grows stronger. A few unfamiliar men casually walk in carrying fishing gear, moving close to their campsite as if it were completely normal.
First cup of coffee. Tons of fish jumping all night. It is a traffic site, like people coming down to fish. So we've had 2 or 3 people drive down and walk up on us.
That guy put his rod in there, and literally in not even 1-2 minutes, he had a big perch fish on there.
It's a little odd, like I would never walk up on somebody at their campsite and ask them to fish or something. Like, here it is 7:30 in the morning and we're just getting up. And
like I said, obviously this is a very known fishing area.
But the whole river, there's lots of places to fish. The canoe launch is just up the way here. This is more of a camping spot. I get people come down here to fish, but it's a little
there's
weird.
There's not a sign. There's those other ones say specifically no camping. This one does not say that.
We didn't say anything to let him make a few casts as he was passing through. A nice older gentleman, but thing is, when someone drives up on you like that, you don't know what it's gonna be. That's what she's always worrying about, boondocking. We're out in the middle of nowhere.
The couple quietly discusses it, both sharing the same discomfort without fully knowing what to think. Nothing else happens after that. There's no direct confrontation, but the atmosphere feels different. What once seemed like a quiet and private location turns out to be less isolated than they originally expected. Sometimes nothing obviously dangerous takes place, but small details can completely change how a place feels. A sound, a reaction, or someone appearing too close can be enough. If you were there, would you trust what you could see or what felt wrong first? The next account comes from Steve Fortune, a UK-based solo bushcraft and wild camping channel centered on outdoor trips, gear testing, and unhurried real-time woodland experiences. On April 15th, 2026, he was set up in a remote coastal woodland area somewhere in the United Kingdom.
There's me teeny pillow comes in that. Oh, looks quite comfortable that. I've already got 2 pillows, but just want a third one. I lie with my leg like that cocked over. So I want something to go under my leg. So I'm looking forward to using that, see if I can actually get some good comfort on camp. But right, what am I going to do now? Right, I'm going to do an IPA review. So I'm going to get like my camera set up and I'll do an IPA review. Well, it's not an IPA, it's a stout.
By the time this moment happens, everything at the campsite is completely in order. The gear is organized, the setup is finished, and the environment is behaving exactly the way expected from a location he already knows. Well, quiet contained nothing unusual. He goes through his sleeping arrangement, tests a new camping pillow, and casually talks about comfort on camera. There's no tension, no distraction, no reason to feel uneasy. He moves into a drink review, something structured and routine. The camera is positioned, the segment begins, and everything is continuing normally. No movement around him, no sound drawing his attention, nothing outside the boundaries of the campsite.
The hell was that? Did you hear that? I heard something there. So, I keep hearing voices. Jesus. But anyway, it must be just because I'm tired, I think. Let's get a taste.
Then something suddenly stops him cold. He hears a sound, freezes, and cannot let it go. Nothing he can confirm, but enough to completely pull him out of the moment. The detail that makes it unsettling is straightforward. He is alone out there. Nobody else is supposed to be anywhere near that location.
Do you know what, viewers? I knew I heard something, and he's only here. He's only here. It's... Wait for it. It's only Craig Johnson outdoors. See, if you can see through there, over there is at the viaduct. You can imagine where I am. Over there. I'm not going to tell you, so I'll give my spot away. And I'll go there, you can see. This is the view. I will do a camp here again soon, actually. So yeah, a little spot. There's Craigie. So Craig Johnson.
He reframes it. He brings a name into the situation, Craig, as though someone has just arrived and joined him. But nothing appears. No movement, no confirmation, no resolution. The tension underneath the moment never fully clears. After that, he pulls himself back together. Gear food campsite talk, everything returns to normal on the surface, but that one moment never truly blends back into the rest of the video. It only took a single sound to throw the entire thing off, and that is what makes it stay with you. Something that small should not have that kind of effect. He laughed it off and kept going, but did it actually disappear? Have you ever heard something out in the middle of nowhere and just couldn't shake it no matter how hard you tried to explain it? This next story comes from D&D Paranormal, a channel where one guy goes alone to old creepy places at night and tries to communicate with whatever might be there. On October 4th, 2025, he set up inside a deteriorated chapel located somewhere in the countryside of the United Kingdom. Nobody else was there, just him, open field surrounding the area, and complete darkness beyond the chapel walls.
Pod's just gone off. The REM pod's just blipped. Okay, if that was you that's just gone towards the red light, I'm hearing a lot of noises, but I'm pretty sure that it's wildlife, which I have to dismiss. Okay, so I'm reaching out to any spirits that might reside in this church, this chapel, this old chapel, 1,000-year-old. Mouse is back behind me. The mouse is definitely in that corner. I've got to dismiss what's behind me. It's making me jump though every time it moves. Okay, so like I said, if there's any spirits here that would like to come and communicate with me, maybe you're one of the downed airmen that crashed in this area, or maybe you're the lady that I heard the voice of when I was here last time. I've got those recording devices again, that if you're speaking to, they'll hear your voice.
He had arranged detection devices around the site, the kind that flash or beep whenever changes happen in the environment, and he began speaking out into the darkness. Almost immediately, the surroundings started producing noise. Sounds came from the grass and open fields outside light movement, rustling, the kind of activity that could easily just be animals. Then one of the devices behind him suddenly activated. He was not even watching it when it went off. He turned toward it, stared for a moment, and tried to work out what might have triggered it. A sudden temperature shift movement in the air. There were possible explanations, but nothing he could confirm with certainty.
I've just heard a voice. While I was sorting this REM pod out, I heard a voice and I panicked. But I forgot I've got the spirit talker going over there. I thought there was somebody coming. Oh, that really made me jump. That really, really made me jump. I should never have put... It's done it again. It's done it again. I keep forgetting I've got the spirit talker on. Oh, mate. That was not me. If that was you, thank you so much. But can you do it again for me, please? Can you make that red light change colour? See, I don't know whether that's just the REM pod settling, but I was a good 2 meters away from it, if not 3 when it started doing flickering. Then that bloody spirit talker's doing my head in. Not only is it making me jump, there's nothing there. I've asked for so many names. It's not, is it? But I mean, the REM pod going off then just, oh.
Then he heard something that made him think someone was approaching him from outside. The sound was clear enough to genuinely unsettle him. A few moments later, he realized it was actually his Spirit Talker app running nearby that had unexpectedly produced a word on its own. The entire night unfolded that way. Nothing escalated into one major moment. Every time something happened, it completely pulled his attention in, then faded, before he could understand what caused it. None of the possible explanations ever felt entirely convincing either. The voice-like sound happened before he even remembered the app was active. Close moments, not definite answers. Do you think any of those moments were actually something, or does one possible explanation always make the whole thing go away for you? That's it for tonight. Which moment creep? Drop it in the comments. Have your own story, share it with us, and stay tuned. The next one is even darker.